these 50,000 people, they didn't just run across the border. They heard about this loophole from the Supreme Court, so they swam. Hello, siblings. How are you today? How's the internet? How's everything treating you? As you may have guessed, I'm by myself. I don't usually like to do this for all the aforementioned reasons I keep bringing up, mostly me whining about how it's harder. I have to stop recording every time I take a drink. Adrian's not here to say smart things when I say something dumb. But it's been 21 days since the last episode, which is ridiculous. I'm sorry I left you this long. I feel like an unattentive parent to all your podcast fans. And Adrian's busy, I don't know, has a life or whatever, doing family stuff, whatever. I mean, I should probably be doing that too. But I'm here to record for you. Not sure how long this will be. I want to say it's going to be a short one, but we all know what happens once I start talking and I hear the sultry sound of my own voice and I go, hey, this guy sounds all right. I mean, I wouldn't be doing the episode 298 of Outrage Factory if I wasn't, obsessed with my own voice and like the way it sounds when I talked. But I got opinions about stuff. So one thing that happened, sorry, I should check if there's any more housekeeping I have to do, but it's been 21 days since we potted, so I don't really fucking remember what we were talking about or anything last time. So if I missed something, I'm sorry. If I told you I would do something, now you know what it's like to be my friend in real life. Just kidding. I follow through on everything. I'm a super nice guy, and I always keep my word. Promise. Especially if you're a prospective employer. One of the things I do know that when I record by myself is I talk really fast, and then I have gaps where I'm like trying to not say like or and then I just have like that where I'm trying to think of something, so I'm like, don't say like or don't say like or so I just have a silence, which I don't know if it's better or not. So I'm going to try to talk slower, and then I'm going to listen to this podcast to see if it sounds like agonizingly slow, which it probably will. So sorry in advance. Do you guys love how every episode of me by myself is just 5 minutes of me fucking apologizing for you having to listen to just me and not my better, smarter co-host who knows things? Well, to make up for it, I did a bit of research on this thing that happened in Spain, because every time the right wing and all these like racist conservatives and all these people try to like fearmonger and be like, you should be very scared. Very scared. Sorry, I said scared. You should be very afraid because the world's going to hell. Europe is fucking apparently under siege from Africa, which they keep repeatedly telling me. But what happened was there was, on some accounts, 50,000, on some accounts, 60,000 migrants that went from Africa to Spain. That's what they'll tell you. And they'll say things like, oh, it's suicidal empathy. Can you believe Spain's letting this happen? It's all the guys on the left, girls too, sorry. All the voters on the left just want people from Africa to come in. So, while technically correct, 60,000 people from Africa did go to Europe. They went from Morocco to Spain, which, if you're like me, I don't know if I count Morocco as Africa, air quotes, because when you say like Africa, I think of Kenya. Like, I know there's other countries out there, like South Africa is part of Africa and stuff, but I feel like they say Africa on purpose to scare you and not Morocco, because Morocco's only been not under fucking France's boot heel since I think it's 1970 they gained their independence, something like that. So they've only been like an African country and not a colonized French country for, doing quick math in my head, 56 years ish. So what happened was, Okay, I'll give you the gist of it, and then I'll pull up some articles to give you like some more facts if you want. I mean, you can't really answer if that's what you want. So the Cliff Notes, too long did not read version is 60,000 people went from Morocco to a city that should be part of Morocco, but it's actually Spain. So Spain has this little tiny country, or not country, city. I'll put a picture up in here, up in I mean, you'll be seeing this. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use visual aids on the YouTube video as a kind of mea culpa for making you listen to just me, so I can have pretty pictures to look at. So, oh fuck, you know what? I was going to look up how to pronounce the city. It's spelled Cuerta, and I want to say Cuerta, and I know that's definitely not how you're supposed to say, but I don't know if it's Suerta or if it's like an African word or a English word or a Spanish word. Yeah, so anyways, Morocco is just across the Straits of Gibraltar from Spain. So if you need me to like visually explain what a map looks like to you, well, buckle in, friends, because I'm willing to do that for you if you're just listening to this and you don't want to stop what you're doing and pull out Google Maps. So, you got to be sort of familiar with maps. Oh, this also reminds me, side note, it's hilarious when people are like, you don't know where that is on a map, so you shouldn't be able to have an opinion of it, when they're like trying to insult people. But guess what? I have a phone that has Google Maps, and I have 15 seconds, and I Google mapped it, and now I know where it is on a map. So now you get to hear my entire opinion. So thank you very much. So anyways, Spain is kind of on the left of Europe, and then there's like the Mediterranean Sea, which is this big circle, like that Spain is on the west of. That sounds smarter than left for some reason. So Spain, and then directly below Spain, across the Straits of Gibraltar, which is the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea, is Morocco. And Morocco was, as I said before, part of Spain. So you know what? I'm going to pull up an article because it has dates, and you sound so smart when you say dates, because I want to say 1580, but I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. So it's called an enclave, this city, which means it's not it's not land attached to Spain, it's land attached to Morocco. So what happened was there we go. Morocco gained its independence from France in 1956. So that's 70 years. 70-year celebration this year. So last week, after more than 50,000 migrants surged over the border into the Spanish enclave of Cueta. Oh, I put an extra R in there. Sorry, folks. It's Ceuta. Sueta. Cueta. Cueta? Should I learn how to say this? Nah, I don't want to make you wait in silence as I Google how to pronounce a word. I mean, I just get it wrong. Whatever. Those tensions between Madrid and Rabat. Okay, I don't know why Rabat's in there. Intensified. Well, most have since returned to Morocco. Several thousand remain in Cueta this week. Oh! Rabat's probably the capital city of Morocco. Al Jazeera does that all the time, and they, instead of like sounding repetitive and saying the countries, they say the city that is the head of that. You can relive all this when I didn't know that Tehran and Iran were the same thing when they're calling it that. Anyways, huge confusion. So my guess is Rabat is the capital of Morocco. There we all learned something new. And if that's not right, let me know in the comments. So why does Spain have these territories at all? And what does their future hold? Here's what we know. I'm reading from Al Jazeera right now. The enclaves of Cueta and Melilla, that's another one, along with a few islets off the coast of Morocco, constitute the last vestiges of a Spanish colonial empire. Cueta first came under Portuguese rule in 1415. That's 600 fucking years ago. This is a long time ago. I think this is before the Quran was written, was it not? That's how fucking old this is. This is like before the Middle Ages. Like, this is before fucking the Ninja Turtle artists and shit. So Cueta first became under Portuguese rule in 1415 before becoming part of Spain in 1580. So, what, 440 years ago? While Melilla was conquered by a Spanish nobleman in 1497. He did it by himself. No help. No nothing. Cueta remained under Spanish control after Portugal regained independence in 1640 following a long war. Fuck, this is a lot of history. Like, I'm guessing after 611 years, you're going to have a lot of history to wade through, but I'll save you all that because you don't want, I mean, unless you want me to start a brand new podcast where I just read 600 years of history, that'd be fun, but it would take a while and my mouth would get tired because reading out loud makes my mouth tired. Okay, Spain reached its greatest extent in Latin America, and with the loss of Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines in 1898, it shifted its influences to Africa, although most European colonial powers have already divided it amongst themselves, explained Yolanda Exili-Cabri, an anthropologist at IMF-CISC in Barcelona. After the decolonization of Africa in the last century, Cueta and Melilla remained the only European-held territories on the African mainland. How many of you turned this podcast off from me stumbling over Melilla? And that's probably not even how you say it. It's Mellilla. Melilla is me trying to say it with, like, Dale's Spanish accent. Although back to reading. Although geographically in Africa, the enclaves are considered Spanish territory and form part of the EU's external border. Now, this is where it comes in. So, all right, here, I'll just keep reading. I'll keep reading till and I'll fill in my dumb explanations. For Spain, maintaining these enclaves on the northern coast of Africa is fundamental on a symbolic level because they reinforce Spanish grandeur, its imperial past, which the state continues to consider a bearer of civilization, in contrast to barbarism, a notion perfectly encapsulated by the repetitive discourse that, air quotes, Christopher Columbus, representing the Catholic monarchs, discovered America, she said. Oh, this is back to Exili-Cabri, anthropologist. Okay, so why didn't the enclaves pass to Morocco on independence? Spoiler! Cueta was part of Spain before Morocco was Morocco. There you go. Then I don't have to read it anymore. So, basically what an enclave is it's like, you know what? Let's Google that because I don't know the exact term for enclave, and that's one of those words I use very heavily. Well, I don't use it very heavily, but in science fiction and stuff like that, it's used very heavily. Dude, my internet is so slow. I guess it's because I'm using this. Apparently when I use my webcam and I talk into it, my fucking internet just shits the entire bed. Like, that's how long it took to load the word enclave. So enclave, a country or part of a country lying wholly within the boundaries of another. A country or part of a country lying wholly within the boundaries of another. A distinctly bounded area enclosed within a larger unit. A tract of land or territory enclosed within another territory of which it is independent. See exclave. So basically what that means is Cueta and Melilla are enclaves because if you look at just the map, they should be part of Morocco because they're kind of like these nubs that stick out of the northwest part of Morocco and into the Mediterranean Sea. And the reason they have them is so Europe as a whole doesn't have a land border with Africa, but they don't want people to come in by sea because this place is basically like customs for going to Europe from Africa. So what they do is you go to Cueta and you go across a land border, and then they can properly screen you, like look inside your anus, read your papers, and make sure you're good to go before you either fly or get on a ferry to go to Europe or Spain vis-a-vis, or Europe vis-a-vis Spain. So, and then what the reason why these 60,000 people went across was recently, I think it's been like over a week now, the Spanish Supreme Court, as a way to deal with immigrants coming by boat, they said if immigrants come by boat, they're not going to turn them around and send them out again directly, because that's kind of like mean, like, hey, you just floated in on a dinghy, sorry, but go back out to rough seas and maybe drown, possibly drown. So Spain passes this thing, this law. I don't know if it's a law or if it's just like a, hey, we're actually Spain, we're nice guys. I don't know what it is, but what it's meant to be is that they don't turn around like boats full that are sinking full of immigrants back into sea to make all these people drown. But what happens is Cueta, which is attached to Morocco, these 50,000 people, they didn't just run across the border. They heard about this loophole from the Supreme Court, so they swam just kind of like across the bay. So like they swam from a coastal city in Morocco, swam a little bit out to sea, across the land barrier or the land fence and all that stuff and the sea fence and stuff, and then swam back into shore in part as Cueta. And they're like, hey, you can't turn us around because of your fucking loophole. But what people don't understand is loopholes don't actually work. They're just like, it's not a board game. You can't be like, well, technically, you pass this thing that says if people come from the sea, you can't just turn them around within weeks. You gotta let them settle, blah, blah, blah. But Spain was like, yo, fuckos, we all know you're trying to loophole in, and this is just a bunch of other people trying to take advantage. And some rumors were saying that it was the mafia, which, like, Al Jazeera is pretty good. I love reading their articles because, as you could tell from when I was reading, they make you sound really smart if you read it out loud. But they also explain stuff, but they didn't say which mafia, so I'm just going to have to assume that it was the Moroccan mafia, the French mafia, the African mafia, because when you say mafia, to me it just sounds like Italian, like it sounds like Scorsese mafia, but I don't know if that was them particularly. Anyways, so they're like, hey, we're going to get a loophole. We're going to go into France. There's 60,000 of us. Tragically, a bunch of them drowned because, as you can imagine, swimming into the ocean and swimming out so you can go around borders is not for the worst swimmers. I'm just looking through the article to see how many died. This is where it's going to get really annoying because I have two articles to pull up. 67 died. I mean, that sounds really bad. But if you got 60,000, and one article said 50,000, one article said 60,000. Sorry. That's why I keep switching back and forth. So that's like, God, my math is terrible. That's like what? 60,000. 6,000 would be 10%. 600 would be 1%. So that's 0.1% of the people died. That's a pretty successful. 99.9% of the people swimming made it. I mean, it's not exactly the longest swim, but what the thing is, it's all like, it was mostly like young dudes, so it might have been like this political thing because, as you would guess, if you've got like this country that gained its independence 80 years ago, and then there's like this one little part of it that's still part of a different colonizer, you expect the people to be like, yo, give us that shit. But one of the reasons why Spain or Morocco has never been like, yo, give us Cueta back is because Spain used to own the Western Sahara, and they're like, you guys can have this bullshit desert if you let us keep Cueta. And they're like, I mean, we're not going to fight Spain to get this little island. Or it's not even an island, this little city. Yeah, okay. Oh, here's, so the reason people had to swim out was Spain had installed a 500-meter, 1,640-foot containment barrier along its sea border. So what happened was these people swam around this 1,640-foot sea barrier. So as you can imagine, getting out there with fucking 60,000 people bumping elbows and kicking you in the face. A couple of them didn't make it. Tragic story. Yeah, and the funniest thing was, I've got to read you this quote. So there's this like young man, because I said it was mostly young men, and if you look at the pictures, there's like a lot of young dudes who are like, hey, we're just doing this as a fuck around, which, hey, you catch 25-year-old Dale, I'm in Morocco, and they're like 60,000 of us are swimming into Cuarto to just say, fuck you, Spain, give us our city. I'd be like, hey, bet, I'm in, no cap, all those other young words. Come on, computer. Oh, now my computer's not even fucking working at all. Just great. Okay, so, oh my god. Son of a bitch. Okay, I'm back. I just totally clipped the video there because, as I mentioned on previous episodes when I'm recording by myself, I am a pessimistic fella. And I feel like if I record an hour-long video at once, my computer's just going to shit itself because it is 7 years old, as you can tell by how shitty my webcam is. Oh, by the way, should I invest in a new HD webcam so you could see my face better? Would that make my face less pink? Help me out, chat. What do you think? I mean, if it makes me less pink, I will 100% buy one because they're like, what, $100, $50? And I did get this fancy blue Yeti, so I might as well, since I have a fancy podcast microphone, I should probably get a fancy podcast camera. Are they even webcams at that point? Or are they just cameras? I mean, I should probably get an actual camera, huh? Ooh. Maybe I should just build a podcast studio. Oh my god, that'd be fun. But I probably have to record more than once every 3 weeks to make it to justify building a podcast studio. Okay, so what I wanted to look up and my internet shat itself, and that's why I paused it. And yeah, okay, so here's some more fun facts about the whole thing. Yeah, so I wanted to pull up my podcast notes and stuff. That's why I paused it and then I stopped it just to clip the video. This happened on Thursday. Let me just double check the date. This was the 1st of August. What day is it? This 5th of August. Yeah, so this was less than a week ago. So Thursday, 60,000 people just were like, fuck it, let's go. Or yeah, 50,000. This article says 50,000 now. And then by 6 p.m. Friday, 48.3 thousand. Or 48,300 of them had returned. So 700 of them remained. This guy's name is Juan Jesus. Juan Jesus Vivas? That's a dope name. He's head of Cueta's local government, said that as many as 60,000 people had pushed across over the past couple of days. Okay, article. You say 50,000. Next sentence you say 60,000. Give it to us straight. What's actually going on? Also, I'm not going to go delve into this theory that this was somehow backed by Israel and Trump because Spain wouldn't let them use Spanish air bases as a staging point for their war against Iran, which some people said, so hey, maybe that holds weight. But I do know that a lot of people in the States are saying this is what happens when you just let a whole bunch of people walk in. Can you believe Spain had 60,000 people going across our borders? Blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm here. Actually, the whole reason I'm talking about this is it's kind of a nothing burger. It's kind of a political stunt because this happened a couple years ago when 10,000 people went from Morocco to Cuarta because it had something to do, like, I watched this TikTok video and it explained it, but it's like this British guy. And he's the thicky dum-dum guy. I'll put the link in the notes. But he was saying that this has to do with West Sahara that I was talking about before. Whereas Spain gave West Sahara to Morocco. And then all the people that lived in West Sahara were like, bro, we're Africans instead of Spaniards now? What the fuck? I mean, I don't have a judgment on which culture is better, but the people in South or West Sahara did. They would have liked to remain as Spaniards, which, I don't know, saying the word Spaniard gives it a little bit of a stank on it. So anyways, so there's this thing where they're like, we want to still be Spaniards. And then Spain was like, all right, you guys can come to Spain. So like 10,000 people crossed the border from Morocco to Cueta to go into Spain. And I don't know how that turned out because, like I said, I don't want to look up 600 years of fucking history just to learn more about this dumb city I didn't know about last week. But now I know. And the whole reason I'm talking about this is, like I said, it's not as big of a deal as fucking everybody's making it sound out to be. And people, like, I watched this one TikTok video. He's like, oh, you don't think that's a big deal? That 50,000 military-age men went across the border. And I was like, whoa, why did this get so steamy? Why are you talking about their age and their fitness level? Like, they were migrants 10 seconds ago. Now they're just like fucking horny, strapping young men when you want to make your point. What's going on with that, bro? Why should I be worried that's these sexy dudes with nice olive skin from the Mediterranean sun went from one part of Mediterranean to like 5 blocks down? I don't care. It's not that big of a deal because, as I said, oh, who wants me to do math? Okay, so you have 700 of 5,000. You know what? Let's just say 1,000, just so the math's a bit easier. That's got to be like, that's like, God, it's 0.2%. Yeah, so, no, it's 2%. Yeah, it's 2%. Yeah, 1,000 of 50,000 is 2%. So 2% of all have been returned except for 2% of the strapping young military age men. The other ones were probably just tired from swimming. I tell you what, if I had to fucking swim 1,640 feet out into the ocean and back, I would also be tired. I don't know if I would die, but you know what? When I said 25-year-old Dale would do this, 47-year-old Dale, he knows better. He knows you don't fuck with the ocean. He knows you don't tempt Poseidon. You don't go, hey, Poseidon, I'm just going to do a loophole and swim into your fucking domain for 1,640 feet, and hopefully I make it back with 50,000 other people kicking me in the face as I'm swimming. Ew. Also, you're swimming with 50,000 dudes, strapping young men. I bet they drank some seawater. I bet they had extra salty pee. How much extra salty pee you swimming through? I'm not doing that. Heck no. Just to prove a point on a loophole, try to stay in Spain? I've actually never had the desire to go to Spain to begin with, let alone swim to Spain. Could you imagine? I'm going to name that the title of this fucking podcast. Swim to Spain. That just sounds like medieval torture from like the Spanish Inquisition. Like the Spanish Inquisition. They take you in a boat, they dump you in the Mediterranean, and they're like, swim back. That's not a Spanish accent. That's German, if anything. Oh, I'm not even going to do it. You know what? Fuck this. I'm not swimming to Spain. There we go. And it's not because I believe in land borders or politics or loopholes from the Supreme Court of Spain. It's because that's a lot of fucking effort, and I don't want to do that. Sorry, I'm just checking my texts, because I might have to go cut this short to pick up my daughter. Okay, anyways. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, so, fuck. Oh yeah, I was looking up, so one of these young strapping men, like this TikToker said, he said, this is his quote, he's like, I don't know why we did this. What we're doing is neither good nor enjoyable. And I love that fucking quote. I wanted to name this podcast, What We're Doing is Neither Good Nor Enjoyable, but it's too long, and swim to Spain is fucking money, because it's like 3 words. But what we're doing is neither good nor enjoyable. God, that should be on a t-shirt. But the problem is nobody will know what it is. Like, hopefully the whole world watches this podcast and then what we're doing is neither good nor enjoyable gets put into the zeitgeist. And if I put it on a t-shirt, people will see that and be like, oh, that's from those fucking 50,000-year-old strapping young men who tried to take advantage of a loophole from the Spanish Supreme Court and swim out to sea and swim back to fucking Cueta just to become Spanish. And you know what the funny thing is? I don't even think these Moroccans, I don't even think they wanted to go to Europe. I think they're just trying to make a point. Like, which, I gotta say, giving a double finger to colonization from 600 years ago, 500 and whatever number, I respect that. 50,000 Moroccans. You know what? You're Moroccan. You think I'm going to get through a podcast without doing that dumb joke? You think that's happening? That's not happening. Anyways, I totally forgot what I was going to talk about with this, and I got to go help my girlfriend get the daughter in the house. Should I make this a shorty majority half-hour episode, or should I record some more stuff? Shorty Gordy would be a lot easier to. You know what? Let's do a shorty bagordy. That way this could just be the swim to Spain episode. And I won't have to go into all the other stuff. And then I can fucking pester Adrian to come on the podcast again. But you know what? Before I let you go, before I let you off easy, class, I'm going to give you some homework. No, the homework is you listen to me read. I'm just going to skim through these articles. So if you've got enough of this swim to Spain story, close this right now. But if you want to fucking listen to me hum and ha. Okay, here's where it says, if you want to listen to me hum and ha, stick around. Hey, if you just want to look at my face while I read out loud very badly, stick around. If you're just here for the ASMR, stick around. Hey, you know what? My microphone still smells like a new microphone. I've had this thing for like a year and a half. That's amazing. Obviously, I don't spit on it enough. Or am I just really good with technology? That's crazy. How does it still smell new? It's so old. You figure... Oh, I do... This is how big of a dork I am. It's like... It was like $100 and some bucks. So I was like, this is a big purchase. I better keep this nice so I can use it forever. So I still put it in the box. Where's the box? Oh, here. Look at this. This is the box it came in a year ago, and I still store it in that. Isn't that crazy how good shape that is? I mean, I'm a dude. I'm supposed to wreck everything. But I do also only podcast every 2 to 3 weeks, so I guess it doesn't age as fast as it would if I did that. Okay, so, to reach, here, let's just read some more. Let's close it out by reading. So, to reach Cueta, migrants often swim from Morocco town of Phonetic. Here's a fun one. Fnideq. Covering about 3 miles to reach Spanish territory. Okay, these motherfuckers didn't just swim out 1,640 feet. They swam 5 kilometers, which is 3 miles for my American and British listeners. I know Britain measures length in imperial increments, which makes sense because imperial means royalty and shit, doesn't it? And you're the only ones with that. Anyways, others attempt the crossing from the nearby town of Bailionich, where the distance is shorter. Oh, thanks, Al Jazeera, for not giving me that distance number so I could sound smart. Cueta authorities linked the surge in attempted crossings to a Spanish Supreme Court ruling earlier this month that prevented authorities from immediately returning migrants who arrive by sea. The ruling does not apply to migrants who enter Spain by land, including by climbing over the border fence. There you go. That's why they didn't cross into Cueta. Let's see. Okay, although the crossing appeared blocked later on Friday, many migrants still moved along the coast seeking routes around the fence. Oh, they didn't even swim out past the fence. They just went through the fence in the sea. That makes sense. Oh, that's it. All right. So, okay, I'm just going to close that, and I'm going to open this. See if there's any more sweet, because you know what? When I hear about stuff, I want to know specific numbers. Like, I'm definitely glad I gave you that 48,700 or whatever number that got returned. Okay, I read you about when it became under Portuguese. I told you that. I told you that. I told you that. Okay. What do people living in these enclaves want? Around 84,000 people live in Cueta. There you go. So the people that went in was like, fuck me, my goddamn persisting on doing math. 5/8. 5/8 of the population just ran in. So that's what, 60%? Yeah, whatever. 84,000 people live in Cueta and 86,000 people live in Melilla. In Spanish possession since 1580, Cueta is home to a mixed population of Christian and Muslims, Spanish and Moroccan residents, and day workers who live and work in relative harmony. That's nice. Oh, this is a nice little nugget for you, too, on why this isn't a big deal. A lot of people were saying all these Moroccans, these 50,000 Moroccans was such a big deal because of the Muslims. Oh, the Muslims are going to overtake Europe, blah, blah, blah. The Muslims already live there, bro. Get over it. But after more than 50,000 migrants entered Cueta illegally last week, division and tensions in the enclave have risen. Ooh, some bad feelings are afoot. Hundreds of residents rallied on Sunday, 2 days after the surge of migrants to Cueta, to oppose the planned far-right anti-migrant rally, forcing organizers to cancel the event. See, that's nice. The people who live in Cueta, the 84,000, they saw these 50,000 Moroccans come across, and then they saw these fucking far-right assholes be like, we're going to take advantage of this and have a giant anti-immigrant rally. And the people of Cueta, being kind souls, were like, hey, right wings, fuck off. They're just people. We don't want you to get more power out of this. One guy said, I am half Christian, half Muslim, as many in Cueta are. We live peacefully together, but the numbers this time were scary, Cueta resident Isabel told Al Jazeera over the weekend. Should I be pedantic about this? About how you could be half Christian, half Muslim, when it's a religious belief and not an ethnic background? Should I be that pedantic? No. What I'm going to say is probably her mother and father were of different religions, so now she believes in both. I mean, it's the same God, people. Okay, here's a rundown. The Abrahamic beliefs, I probably told you this before. The Abrahamic beliefs is basically the Christian God that was passed down to the people from Abraham, because God talked to Abraham and he was like, blah, 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 your sons will inherit the earth. So there's 3 Abrahamic beliefs. There's Islam, there's Judaism, and there's Christianity. Islam and Judaism don't believe that Christ was the Son of God. Islam believes that the Son of God, Jesus, was a prophet akin to Moses. Whereas Judaism, I don't know exactly what they believe, but Christianity is basically the only thing that makes you Christian is you believe Christ is the Son of God, or part of the Holy Trinity, which is a part of God. Anyways, basically, if you believe Jesus is God, then you're Christian. But the same, like Jesus' dad, that's the same God from Judaism and Islam. So they all fucking worship the same God. Fighting all these fucking wars. You guys are all fucking loving the same dude. Get over it. God, Christ, fuck. So let's see. Melilla, which has been in Spanish possession since 1497, is also home to Spanish and Moroccan residents, as well as small Jewish and Sinti communities. The latter a diaspora of Hindu merchants who arrived following a 1947 partition of India. There's something I didn't know. I didn't know India fucking partitioned itself off in 1947. Okay, you know what? Before I keep reading and learn too much stuff and sound like an idiot because I didn't know that fucking India went through some weird partition, or maybe not weird, maybe totally fine, in 1947. I'm just going to end there. We're going to have a quick 40-minute episode. Thank you for listening to me. I did have some other topics I was going to talk about, which I'll save for next time. So maybe I can convince Adrian to come in and talk again, or maybe I'll just do another one of these. The next one won't be 40 minutes of the same thing. This is just something I basically punished you because I did homework and then I got mad that I did all this homework, so I just like read it to you. But yeah, if I guess swim to Spain or not. Don't. Sorry if I said I was going to cover something and I didn't. Yeah, if you're listening to this, watch the video. I'll put in fun maps, maybe some pictures of stuff, maybe some old-timey stuff. You know what? I'm going to look up the Middle Ages quick because so we're talking, wait, what year was that I said? 1497. So we're talking 1500s. Let's look up when the Renaissance time. Okay, the Renaissance time period is. If you're saying, Dale, you should know this, I probably fucking should. Holy shit! Holy shit, guys! 1490 to 1520. Cueta Maia, they were fucking made by Spain during the Renaissance. These are Renaissance cities. They should make them live Renaissance lives. Dude, fucking swim to Spain. Go to a Ren fair. There we go. That's it. Thank you very much. And until next time, stay angry.